The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to 5 Simple Steps to Beat Age Discrimination. Today we have speaking for us Sherry Estrin, who is CEO of the Paralegal Knowledge Institute. I want to remind you, if you haven't been with us before, to send your questions either into the chat window or the question window, and we'll get them answered as best we can later on in the presentation. About our speaker today, Sherry is the CEO of the Paralegal Knowledge Institute. She's president and co-founding member of the Organization of Legal Professionals, the OLP, and co-founder of the International Paralegal Association. A former paralegal administrator for 2 major firms, she has held and founded one of the first exclusively paralegal and contract attorney staffing organizations, held executive positions in law firms, litigation support companies, and was senior vice president of a legal staffing division of a $5 billion publicly held corporation. She is the author of 10 books in the legal field, including the Paralegal Career Guide 4th edition, and has written hundreds of articles. Ms. Estrin has been interviewed by such publications as Newsweek, the New York Times, Los Angeles Times, the Chicago Tribune, Entrepreneur, and other prestigious publications. Ms. Estrin is the editor-in-chief for KNOW, K-N-O-W, the magazine for paralegals, and the OLP e-journal. She is a regular contributor to the Chicago Law Bulletin on legal careers. One recognition she is most appreciative of includes being the recipient of the Los Angeles Paralegal Lifetime Achievement Award. She is a national seminar speaker, co-founding member of the International Paralegal Management Association, now known as the International Practice Management Association, and recipient of the Century City Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce Women of Achievement Award. She has written the popular blog, The Estrin Report, since 2005. So without any further ado, I'm going to give Sherry the floor, and please take it away.
Thank you, Alan. I appreciate that. Hello, everyone. My name is Sherry Estrin, and I'm a recovered paralegal. Welcome today to a very, very difficult topic for most of us. I'm willing to bet we have a very large crowd today, so people will be coming in the room at all times. But I'm willing to bet that the majority of you who are here today are probably over 40. Some of you may have faced age discrimination in your 20s because maybe you're too young, or people feel you're too young. But today we're going to talk about people older, baby boomer, the other generations except probably the net generation, which is the generation up and coming. And it's of particular interest to me because I decided to go on camera today and let you see that I'm a baby boomer as well. So while I haven't really faced a lot of age discrimination, I have faced some. I've faced discrimination because I'm a woman. I faced discrimination because I'm Jewish. I faced discrimination because I was overweight. So I understand, I can feel your pain, it's my pain, and we're going to really do some straight talking here today. And if you have any questions, please just put them in the chat box, and Alan will get those questions to me, and we'll answer them as we go along. So, okay, there we go. Let's talk about age discrimination in the legal field. Of all places to have age discrimination, or to have discrimination of any kind, the legal field, where they know better. Do they not? They know better. So while we talk about age discrimination today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be on camera right now for a few minutes, and then I'm going to go off camera so that we can just do some straight talking, and then come back on camera at the end of the session. What I've done here is, you might think that the PowerPoint's a little overloaded. However, what you've got here is the actual ebook that I'm going to send around right after the webinar. okay, so that you can have everything that we talked to in one ebook. Now, the reason why I didn't give you the PowerPoints ahead of time is because I don't want you reading this ahead of time. I want the facts and I want the phrases that you're going to use and the strategy that you're going to use to come at you and for you for us to talk about it and for you to think it over. So doing it a little differently today, folks. Okay, so this is the ebook. You're going to get it, and what I would like for you to do is to review it, take a look at it, and comment on it, and send me your thoughts. Right? So, baby boomers are no longer the lost generation. So what that means is there are a lot of people Hello, can everybody hear me? If you can hear me, please answer yes in the chat room. And somebody has asked, I can hear through my headphones, but if I need to speak, how does that work? Well, unfortunately, fortunately, we've got almost 200 people in this webinar today, so please put your questions in the chat room and we will answer them. Can everybody hear me? If you can, please answer yes in the chat room. So let's see a few people. Okay, apparently we're being heard. Okay, I apologize about that. Sometimes GoToMeeting does this. It's not within our control. So let me come back on camera for a few minutes, and then let me not show any anger. There we go. Okay, I'm on the telephone. All right, so let's pick up from where we were. Age discrimination is very, very hard to prove, and a lot of times what I hear are folks who say to me, I didn't get that job, they were discriminating against age, or I didn't get that promotion, it was totally age discrimination. Sometimes that's the only thing that we can latch on to. And so we begin to use it as an excuse. It becomes an excuse for what happened. For example, a paralegal wrote me the other day and she said, oh, I've been discriminated against, it's my age. And I said, okay, tell me what happened. And she says, well, what happened is the company brought in a lot of people younger than I am, a lot of managers, and the next thing I know is they took away my title and they gave me a different title. And so they discriminated against me because they're a lot younger than I am. It didn't make much sense to me. So I said, well, tell me, what are you doing? What are your duties today? And she listed them. I said, okay, tell me, what were your duties last year? Let's just go through what your duties were last year. And what happened was she had gone backwards in the level of assignment that she was
tackling. So I don't think that was age discrimination. They took away her title because she wasn't doing what the title represented. So be very careful before you claim age discrimination, because it's very, 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 very hard to prove. So how old is old? All right. Well, first of all, let's take a look at the average age of the paralegal student. Paralegal, as you know, and some of you sitting in this room are not paralegals, but that's okay. The average age of a paralegal student is already 36 to 38. So what does that indicate? That indicates that the paralegal is probably in their second, even their third career already. I don't know anyone who grows up and says, what I want to be when I grow up is a paralegal. I don't know anyone who says that. It's the same as if you were going to say, when I grow up, I want to be an actuary. Okay, it just isn't done. Contrast that with the average age of law student, okay, and you're going to see quite a bit of difference just out of the gate. I'm so sorry that the technology is not working today. Mr. Brody, can you help me out? Okay, there we go. All right. Here is a chart. I'm not going to go through all of it right now, but when you read your ebook, and again, I'd like you to read your ebook, here are the differences in the work styles of the various generations that we have in the workplace right now. And you'll see that each generation has a different way of working, and it's very difficult to cope with all of those generations, let alone if you're just coping with someone that happens to be younger than you are. And you'll see on the baby boomer side, born 1946 to about 1964, that the way that the baby boomers work is entirely different than the way that the other generations work, even the traditional. Okay, even the traditional, which is older than the baby boomers. All right, let's talk for a moment about looking for a job. And what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about when you look for a job, and also applying a lot of those strategies, the same strategies, to moving ahead on the workplace, and also beating some age discrimination that you may be facing now on the job, and how to handle that. So we're going to handle all of this, not just the job search and not just the getting promoted, but also if you feel as though you are facing age discrimination where you are. Okay, so let's just take a look at the job search. There's three primary reasons that your job search is not working. First of all, your cover letter isn't strong enough. All right, it's usually what I come across, and I was in staffing, in paralegal and attorney staffing for something like 16 years. And prior to that, I'd been interviewing hundreds and hundreds of paralegals. I always got a standard boilerplate cover letter. This shows no independent thinking. Whenever you use a boilerplate anything, it's already recognizable. So you're going to have to use your brains. Okay, use your brains. Your resume is not strong, but you think it's just fine, right? Who have you bounced the resume off of? Please do not bounce it off of someone who has a similar resume, because they're going to think that your resume is just fine. Find somebody with a resume that is so strong that you want to have a resume just like that one. Right? You're applying for jobs online. There's a tremendous amount of competition out there. And what happens now, in case you're not haven't looked for a job in a while, there's software programs, and there are any number of software programs that will weed you out because there are keywords that are missing. So in other words, the job description may say seeking a paralegal who is a whiz at relativity, who has been to trial, et cetera, and your resume has none of those keywords that they're searching. So you're going to automatically be ruled out, and this is particularly prevalent in the corporations and in the larger law firms. you're going to have to send 75 to 100 resumes to get one interview in this market. So don't go back and say it's age discrimination, because this is what it takes, all right? And what I want you to do is to stand up to what the realities of the market is, okay? And the stats are you may have 5 to 10 interviews before you get one offer, and that's in a good market. And folks, this market is coming back, but it's not that great, okay? Now, 74% of job candidates over the age of 40 are encountering age-related problems. And a lot of that has to do with our society today. Television ads are aimed at the 18 to 34-year-olds. That's where they aim them. And it's only recently that in the past couple of years that you'll see television ads aimed towards the baby boomers. Why? Because the baby boomers are retiring and they have a lot of money, or that's what the advertisers think. I don't know. Some of us went down in the recession. And the number of employees facing age discrimination when they're seeking a promotion is not known. We don't know what that number is, but we suspect it's high. So if this is what's going on with you on the job, you're not alone. Okay, you're just not alone. All right, 3 primary reasons you are not moving up the ladder. And again, let's get away from age discrimination for just a moment, all right? You're doing the same job year in and year out with no visible upward movement. Your job today is the same as it was last year. Now, this is a real problem with paralegals. Why? Because we do routine and repetitious work. So you may think that you've moved up the ladder, but take a good hard look at it. For example, let's talk about a litigation paralegal, because most paralegals are in litigation, and I'm not ignoring real estate, corporate, family law, whatever. It's easy to do the same things over and over again. It was like when I burnt out in staffing, quite frankly, I burnt out. Why? Because it were 5 different stories, all right, the same stories, but a different face. And I finally just would look at somebody. I would be interviewing somebody. I hadn't heard a word they said. I mean, I could be saying yes in the right places. I could be saying, okay, let's go to work here. I could be saying anything. It was the same thing, but I did not hear a word that candidate said, all right, because it was the same story, different face. You may be on the same maybe on a different trial, okay, but you're doing the same types of duties. So you're going to have to take a look at that hard, all right? Are you doing the same thing that you did last year and the year before? And that's easy to do because there is no real vertical climb up for paralegals. If this is the first time that you're hearing this, I'm sorry, but you're not going to make partner, okay? You're just not going to make partner. Traditionally, the career growth for paralegals is a horizontal climb. In other words, it's an outward climb. So you're most likely not going to make partner. All right, we know that. And chances of you making a vice president in a legal department, in an in-house legal department, are slim to none. Here's something that I want to talk about, and I want to be really, really frank about this. So, oops, where's my webcam, Mr. Brody? Here we go. Okay. Now, hello. Okay. Those of you who haven't seen me in a long time might wonder what's different about me. Well, it could be my hair. It could be that I'm 115 pounds thinner. Okay. But I'm starting to age, and since I aged a little bit, and also since I lost 115 pounds, I got a little work I have to get done here. Just some straight talk. However, and I'll take myself off the camera now. However, you might look like your grandma, okay? And here's the thing about baby boomers. Baby boomers are probably one of the most independent, take me for who I am type of attitude. Take me just the way I am. Now, is there something wrong with that? No, there's nothing wrong with that. However, your job is not a marriage. It's not a marriage, all right? It's a job, okay? And all jobs are temporary. You could be at your job from the same job from the moment you got out of college to the moment you retire, but at some point you leave, okay? At some point you leave. It's not a marriage. So what you're doing is you're playing a role. And if you're not going to play the game, folks, get out of the game. Get out of the game, because in this day and age, what you're doing is not working. And what I want to teach you today is not that you have to file a lawsuit over age discrimination, not that you have to insist that people take you for who you are and how you look, and I have gray hair, and I'm wearing clothes that I buy in the women's department that are, you know, they're not really up to date, et cetera, et cetera. But I want you to face the reality that you want to stay in the game, you have to play the game. And as many people of you that are cringing at hearing this, that's what it really takes today. You may agree with me, you may not, okay? Take a look at your skills. Most likely, people who are complaining about age discrimination have out-of-date skills. Now, I can't tell you how many paralegals I hear and attorneys that I hear over and over and over again who say, my employer does not pay for continuing legal education, so therefore I don't get it. Well, excuse me, give up your Starbucks, okay? Give up your Starbucks. Stop going out to lunch every day, all right? What is it that you can give up to get your skills up to date? The other day a paralegal said to me, look, I don't know a lot about technology. I'm not very good at it, and I'm never going to be good at it. So my current employer is just going to have to accept me the way I am and work around it. I don't think so. Okay, I predict that this person is going to be out of a job in about 6 months, and she's been on that job for a long time. A long time. You have to step up to the table. It's time for you to step up to the table. Somebody was asking today, is this webinar CLE approved? No, it's not CLE approved because most states will not approve a self-help type of webinar. Maybe NALA will approve it. I don't know. But in the state of California, they will not approve this webinar because it doesn't have anything substantive in it, any ethics, et cetera, et cetera. So they will not approve law practice management. But what does that tell me? A lot of times, people ask just out of curiosity, and that's okay, but they're not going to take the webinar or they're not going to take the class unless it's CLE approved, because a lot of them have certain requirements that they have to fill in. So if it's not CLE approved and at the same time can help bring up their skills, they're still not going to take it. Tell me what kind of sense that makes. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. How do you know if your skills are out of date? Take a look at the people who are succeeding around you. Find out what they're doing. Okay, and this, what? Okie dokie, we're having a little bit of trouble today, and I do apologize. Okay. All right. Here is the #1 bias against older legal professionals. There's no energy or drive. This is not necessarily true, okay? But this is the thinking out there. So how do we show that there's no energy or there's a lack of energy? You have low billable hours, all right, and it's not the firm's fault, okay? You have a lot of doctor's appointments, okay? You're a 9-to-5er, all right? 5 o'clock and you are out that door, all right? Out that door. Now, I understand there may be a reason. However, what is the message that you're giving a 9-to-5er? And I mean right at 5 o'clock. You've already, at 5 minutes to 5, you've tidied up your desk and you're out of there. Your appearance, okay? I was just very honest with you, and I showed you me, okay? I gave an explanation why my neck is a little, well, you know, and I could have worn a turtleneck and be like Katharine Hepburn, but I wanted to make a point. You have an old-fashioned haircut. I know a lot of you like your gray hair, and frankly, I happen to find a man with with silver hair and a silver beard. I happen to find them very attractive. But what does gray hair mean, okay? And how are you wearing that hair, all right? Some of you are wearing that hair. You're still in the 60s, and it's down to your shoulders for the women, some of the men as well. You're wearing a ponytail. You know, you look like you're out of the 60s, okay? You have a careless appearance. You can't afford to do that these days. You can't afford to do that. You're not physically fit. This is something I had to come to terms with. I was not physically fit, okay? You don't have up-to-date clothes, even age-appropriate, all right? Even age-appropriate. Go to somewhere where they've got a someone who can show you, like one of the stores can show you what would be appropriate for you and what would be youthful looking. You look worn out. I don't even want to go into that. Now, a lot of you are at the end of your career, so there's no incentive to move up. All you want to do is, please God, please God, please God, let me get through this until retirement. Okay, and a lot of you, particularly those of you who've been laid off and had to find another job after the recession, unfortunately that happened, but now your attitude is, just let me get through to retirement. I'm so grateful for this job. But other people pick up on that. So their attitude is, all right, this person has gone as far as you can possibly go. So there's no reason to promote you, none. Your career has already peaked. Maybe that's true. I'll tell you, I don't believe my career has ever peaked. And I will share with you that during the recession, my partner and I had paralegal super conferences that we did all over the country, and they were highly, highly successful. But in the recession, no one was paying for day-and-a-half super conferences anymore. And what happened was, we went down hard, okay, hard. In fact, there isn't a day that I don't remember that, all right, or it isn't brought to my attention. In my late 50s, I reinvented myself. And so you heard a couple of the businesses that we've got going. I still consider myself full of energy and proving it. My career has not already peaked. So a lot of times, people will think that you're just at the job for the benefits. Okay, you're just there because you're waiting for Medicare, right? What you want to do is project an image of energy. Don't discuss your disabilities. Starting somewhere in your 50s, I know this happened to my folks, and I remembered around 55, you start to talk about your ailments. You're talking about how your knees hurt, your arthritis, you get up in the morning and you're stiff, okay? You kid around about sagging body parts. Oh, this never used to sag. And it's self-deprecating, all right? But also think about how this must appear to somebody in their 20s or their 30s when you're talking about your knees hurt or you have arthritis, okay? What that sends a message is, I'm aging. Well, we're all aging, but to keep reminding somebody about it is to keep them thinking you're old, all right? And that's not what we want. First strategy, we're going to have 5 strategies today. First strategy is to talk the talk, all right? Instead of talking about your knees, your arthritis, the crick in your neck, on and on and on, talk about current things. Talk about a webinar you just attended, all right? You can talk about this webinar. You can talk about any webinar. Talk about what you did over the weekend, because people don't know. Gee, I went swimming with my husband. I went hiking on a 2-mile hike. I went golfing. I went tennis. I coached Little League. Let people know how active you are. Right? Changes their perception. A book you just read, it shows that you're on top of current events, what's happening in the world. Your workout, boy, I got to 16 minutes on the such and such machine, all right? An activity that you're alive in the community. People don't know about this unless you talk about it, right? Involvement with the legal association, very important. Speaking engagements, articles you wrote or that you read, get out there, okay? Get off your tushy and get out there. Sometimes you get discouraged and you want to sue. This is not the best strategy, folks. It just is not the best strategy. What I want you to do is to use very, very strong strategy. To get angry and to get depressed is a waste of time, all right? You do not have the power to change the market. Did everybody hear me? Okay. You do not have the power to change the market. So this is the one time that what I want you to do is to ride the horse in the direction it's going. Okay? Ride the horse in the direction it's going. You cannot change the market. All right. Bias number 2. Here's how they're biased. Lack of technology skills. And I can't tell you how many people say to me, oh, gosh, I'm not on social media. All right? You're not on LinkedIn, Facebook. You don't Twitter. You don't tweet, whatever the heck it is. Okay? And I purposely misspelled tweet. You're not doing it. Or your LinkedIn profile says name, okay, a paralegal, and nothing else. All right? It just what the message is that I'm not keeping up with current technology. I realize that I have to be on LinkedIn because it's the professional thing to do, but you're not in it all the way. All right? Let people know what a pro you are. Show them what the background is. And it really isn't necessary, by the way, to go back more than 10 years, 15 years, okay? Don't start going back to the 70s. Don't do that. Don't date yourself. And you don't have to put on the dates that you graduated college or high school or anything like that. But if you are not on LinkedIn and using it, particularly LinkedIn, I don't care so much about Facebook, but if you are, and I don't care that much about Twittering or tweeting or whatever the heck it's called, but LinkedIn is the professional social media that you need to be on. Join the groups. I have 6 of them. I have 10,000 followers in KNOW, okay, K-N-O-W. I have another 10,000 in paralegal group. And I built these, not paralegal group, I took that one over, but I built up KNOW all by myself. All right, I invited people in. I got the word out. All right, I have 6 groups. Okay, 6 groups. The smallest one has 635 people in it. That's the smallest one, right? So what am I doing? I'm getting the name out there. I cannot tell you how many times people say, oh, Sherry Estrin, I know Sherry Estrin. Now, I don't know who those 10,000 people are, okay? I probably haven't met but 1 or 2. But the point is that my name is out there in a professional capacity, and that's where I want you to be. You can't keep up with the technology. Right? You're not taking classes. You can't keep up. Go to Lynda, Lynda.com. For $29, you can get any kind of software and any kind of training that you want. Lynda.com. All right? You don't know enough about the latest software in your own specialty. You cannot come in and say to your boss, gee, I just viewed a current software package in family law, for example, okay? I just want to pass on the information about it, all right? That's not an old person. That's not somebody's going to take a look at and say, gee, this person is out of touch. They're not going to do it, all right? What you're trying to do is change that thinking around. Change the thinking around. You have little or no knowledge of e-discovery or litigation support. I can't tell you how important, I don't care what your specialty is, you need to know e-discovery and now information governance. You need to know the ins and outs of it. You may not be a litigation paralegal, but you're going to be setting clients up in the corporate world for risk management, family law, personal injury. Somewhere you're going to be dealing with e-discovery, and it behooves you to get familiar with it. I don't care what the specialty is. Anything computer related and you're a novice, okay? It's an indication of behind the times, indication, and that's a bias, all right? What you don't know is hurting you. Get continuing legal education. Show you still have a direction. You're not brain dead, okay? And I put a little paralegal knowledge in there, and you're going to see paralegal knowledge all through the thing because that's what I do, all right? Stay on top of CLE, strategy number 2. Stay on top of education. Don't stop getting education. It's the worst thing in the world. First, your brain shuts down, all right? Now, bias number 3, and a lot of us have this prejudice. You won't work for a younger boss. This used to be like people used to say, well, will you work for a woman? I mean, they actually used to say that. Maybe they still say it today. Will you work for a woman? All right. Fortunately, we don't hear that a lot, but we do hear, I'm not going to work for somebody younger than me. Why? Because you think you know a lot more than your younger boss. Now, maybe you do. Okay? Maybe you do. but this is the way of the world now, all right? And to keep fighting it, you're not going to win, all right? You're not going to win. So you're going to have to, at some point, work for supervisors or bosses who are younger than you. And it might be that they do know a whole lot more than you if you're in the range that we just talked about, okay? Also, you have a tendency to want to teach the boss. There's nothing that can be worse than wanting to teach the boss. Don't try and teach the boss. Those are found in phrases such as, well, let me show you a little something. Okay, that's putting somebody down. Here, let me show you a little something. Or let me show you, all right? Another phrase would be, well, let's work together on this and see how we can arrive at blah, 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 okay? Not let me show you something. And we tend to use that a lot, so that creates a bias. Strategy number 3, this is your strategy, collaboration, all right? What you want to do is adopt a positive attitude. Be receptive. Let the other person do the talking. You know, the old 80-20% rule. They do 80% of the talking, you do 20%, right? And that's not 20%, I was listening. Show respect. And a lot of times people are afraid to say, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Why are they afraid to say, I didn't know that? Because you think at this age you know everything, or you should know everything. And that's not true. All right? And we just went through, don't say that you can teach them. Ask them to teach you something. Gee, Susie, can you show me how to do the blah, blah on relativity? Okay, can you show me how to do that? You can mention that you work for someone younger, all right, but give a positive example of it so that what you're doing is you're allaying the fears that the other person may have. Don't forget that if somebody who is younger than you is supervising you, they may have their own fears about it. Let's not just make this all about you, okay? Don't say how you did it before, or a common phrase that I hear all the time with people over 40, and that is in those days. The first thing that will date you is to say in those days. Why? Because it's not the days of the younger person, all right? It's days that are past. When you talk about days that are past, you're talking about age, right? Don't be condescending. Try role-playing with a few younger people, all right? Back in the day. This is the #1 phrase that's going to put you in the old person's category. Now, do young people say back in the day? Sure they do. But what do they mean by that, back in the day? They don't mean back in the day of their generation. However, when they hear you say back in the day, they automatically interpret that as meaning back in your day, meaning before they were born or before they hit the workplace, back in the day. So if you're using that phrase, get rid of it, all right? Or this is the way we've always done it. That shows somebody who is very, very resistant, okay? Also, you're not open to change. And what you do is you bypass any new systems because you think it's faster or it's easier. And maybe it is, all right? Maybe it is. But you appear resistant to change. To change. And what this is all about is, I don't care how old you are, you're open to change in the way that things are done. I had to be open to the way advertising, marketing, PR is done, all through social media. I was used to sending out direct mail pieces, doing cold calls. Okay, that's the way that we had always done it back in the day. All right, does that not date me? Of course it does. All right, so you have to convey, not just this esoteric thing, oh, I'm open to change, oh, just say, oh, I'm open to change. You're going to have to demonstrate how you're open to change. Change happens fast. Give some examples of change like I just did, okay? Talk about new software you've learned. Talk about the future of your specialty. I am the co-founding member and president of OLP, which is the Organization of Legal Professionals. And most of the people, I would say 90% of the people who are on our board of governors are over the age of 40. I don't know how that happened. I really don't. But it happened. And what we've decided to concentrate on is the future of legal technology. Thought leaders. The future of legal technology. Be able to quote Okay, be able to quote. Richard Granite, who is the co-chair of the ABA e-lawyering committee, said yesterday that, okay, be able, now don't show off, that's not what I'm trying to say, but be able to be on top of it. You get plenty of junk email, sign up for lots and lots of newsletters, okay? And these days we only skim. We really do. I tell my employees, don't send me a long email, just bullet point it, because all I'm going to do is skim. So learn how to skim, get as many newsletters in your specialty and beyond your specialty so that you can show that you're open and you're up to date. Prove that you are open to change. Okay? And I cannot overemphasize taking continuing legal education, and not just because you're required. In this day and age, you can take on demand and still get CLE for it. If you go to Paralegal Knowledge, if you go to our on-demand store, every single tape, video that's in there has a tracking system, so that if it's for CLE, you can prove that you can get the CLE because it has a tracking system, which a lot of the state bars now require. Okay, so go and learn. Show that you want to learn new things. Make suggestions to improve systems, but be very careful that you're not saying, I'm teaching you. Know what's coming. Read, 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 read. Okay? And this is something that we don't do anymore. We just don't read. So start reading about your career. I've just been doing a whole topic on the difference between being certified and getting a certificate. People seem to be mixed up about that. But how am I knowing about that? I talk to a lot of people and I read a lot. Okay? So now I'm doing a whole series of articles on the difference. This is something that you can be doing. You could be writing for your paralegal newsletter. They're asking for writers all the time. Then what do? You take that article and you send it around. Just would like you to see. Okay, here is bias number 5, and that's the money. All right? And this is a big one. This is a big one, whether you are on the job and the firm says to you, well, Jane, you're a senior paralegal and you've capped out. That I cannot tell you how discriminating that is. Okay? You've capped out. They're going to call it the budget. They're going to say, our budget shows us that. All right? But really? Okay? Really? All right. So the bias is that you are automatically expecting bigger dollars and you're not going to take lower. That's the expectation, because after all, you've just told them how many years of experience you have. All right? You're going to take the money with one foot out the door. Now, this is when you're interviewing for a job. They begin to think, yeah, I'll take that job right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my $100,000 a year with one foot out the door. When I can leverage that and go to another employer and they ask me my salary, and I can say I'm making $100,000, and then I can go get the job that I want. Well, nice strategy. But you may not get the job because this is what the person sitting across the desk from you may be thinking. Here's a good one, and we hear this a lot. Something is wrong with you if you work for less money. What's wrong with you? Okay, why would you work for less money? Well, for a whole host of reasons, which we're going to go into. And I'll share with you when my partner and I, my husband and I, had to start over again, we started from ground zero. We lost everything, everything. So it wasn't about the money, okay? It wasn't about the money. There's nothing wrong with you if you work for less money. What you have to do is to be able to explain why you're willing to work for less money. That makes sense, okay? And doesn't sound as though you read it in a book somewhere, okay? And that's what we want to talk about. I want to work and contribute. Money is secondary. At your age, maybe it is. Okay, that might be the truth, all right, but don't say that, all right, you don't want to say that. I want to work and contribute. That's important, the word contribute. Real reason, this is the reality of the marketplace since the recession. Remind them, okay, we're just coming out of a recession. 2008, 2009, 2010 were terrible years. That was just a few years ago in the scheme of things, okay? But the marketplace changed. Salaries changed, all right? Salaries changed. They may think you want to work less. Well, the reason may be, maybe I'm looking for a job where I do work less hours. Okay, maybe this is the job. Maybe I want to put in more time. All right. But here's a good one. I have always wanted to work for Acme and Acme because, and you've done your homework, and you say because the case that they handled with AAA. Okay, was of interest to me because blah, blah, blah. If you're at your firm, okay, you might be saying, I have always wanted to stay with this firm because I look to people such as blank, 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 blank. All right, so you want to combat this bias, all right, with very good answers. I have always wanted this. Here's the opportunity. Why would you work for less money? I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to work for legal aid. Truthfully, I've always wanted to work for the Innocence Project. I really have. Okay, so I've always wanted to do this. Here is my opportunity. Does that bypass the money question? Yes, it bypasses the money question. I want more involvement. I want more client contact. I want less travel. I want more travel. I want access to the latest technology. Currently, my firm does not put in any money into current technology because they take the wait and see attitude. Well, let's wait and see if the technology changes. Well, let's wait and see if we can get it cheaper. A lot of firms do this. So what happens is your technology skills are not up to date because the firm, and this goes a little bit against what I was saying about CLE, but the firm will not invest in the latest technology, and you need that technology to keep up, all right? So combat that bias with a good answer. Okay. Here's where we become really over-anxious in our pitch. We may be trying to sell ourselves, all right, why I want to move up, why I'm not as old as you think I am, I don't have that attitude. We may become, sell yourself out the door. Here's your strategy. You want to position yourself as a thought leader. Now, start writing, start speaking, if some of you are scared to death to do public speaking, okay, some of you can write, teach, get out there and become known as a thought leader, not be known as someone who's been in the field for 25 years, all right? Find the business pain that you can solve, all right? And talk to the partners about that pain. They can't afford to care how old you are, all right? And here I'm saying, when you stop talking about your skills and abilities, and you start whining, please, 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 please like me, or please, please, please give me that raise, or give me that promotion because I've been here for 17 years. That's no reason why they should give you a promotion. All right, that's no reason. But what does work is you found their pain. All right. So what happens is you're not like the every other banana in the bunch. All right. You understand that they need, let's just make something up, that they have all these paralegals running around and they need a paralegal supervisor to head up the team. That's their pain because a first-year associate is doing it, and that's taking away from his or her billable time. All right, so you found their pain. Here's how I can make money for you as a paralegal manager. All right, find their pain. Don't put it on you as to you should get the promotion or the raise because you've been a good girl. That's not going to happen. That attitude comes from when we went to school, and all you had to do was show up. All right, suit up and show up, as they say. All you had to do was show up, and you're automatically promoted into the next grade, automatically. So what happens is we take that into the workplace where it doesn't belong. All right, so find the business pain that will justify you moving up the ladder. No pain, no new hire, no move up the ladder. Right? Just like a salesperson, all right, what you need to do is put your experience and continuing legal education to work for you, right? And this is when you're also, when you're not even looking for a promotion, when you are not even looking for a job, but what you want to do is to establish yourself in the firm as the thought leader and get rid of all those nasty remarks. People are not going to make those nasty remarks if you show them that you're a different person than what you've been showing them. And here is where I want you to take responsibility for yourself, right? Stop blaming those around you. Do others have bias? Yes. Are they prejudiced? Yes. Are you going to change them? No. But what you're going to do is to be able to handle it so that you can deal with it and you change the perception of yourself. And that's what you want to do. Once you change the perception, people believe the perception. And if they believe the perception, it must be true. Okay? This is how we get to the quote-unquote truth, right? Some people will say, for example, on a promotion or whether we should use sue on trial, let's just take it down to that level, okay? Or we should use somebody else. Here we say, we could hire Philip who could do this job in his sleep, all right? Or Sarah who's going to grow into it but could be here for years to come. That's a bias, all right? And that's how people compare you when it comes to age discrimination. That's how they compare you to a younger person, all right? It's not always all of this, well, we can get them cheaper. That's the first thing people have been discriminated against go to, all right? So don't be in that police lineup, all right? Don't be. Change the conversation, all right? Strategy. What you're trying to do is to make discrimination a non-factor, all right? And if you start to talk about these things and appear this way and change your attitude, okay, you're going to become what they're calling today the trusted advisor, all right? And now what you're going to start to build, all right, is that you become the consultant and you're curious. Okay, you ask questions about what's going on. You overcome the obstacles. Okay, get some energy, and what you're going to do is you're going to move to a higher level of conversation. And if somebody says something to you that is discriminating or things like that, I also do another seminar, by the way, a webinar called How to Work for a Jerk, and I have some great phrases in there. And basically, if somebody says something to you about age, one of the greatest things to say is, I'm sorry you feel that way. Okay? I'm sorry you feel that way. And that's it. Walk away. All right? Don't elevate it. Don't escalate it. Okay? I'm sorry you feel that way. Points it out that there's something wrong with the way somebody said, gee, you know, John, Tony, you're getting a little gray there. Have you thought about Grecian formula? Okay? I mean, people are rude. They're rude, all right? I'm sorry you feel that way. Okay. Code. Code, code, code. You're overqualified. I cannot tell you how many people in the legal field come to me and they accept the fact that somebody has told them that they're overqualified. There has never been another code for age discrimination, folks, than you're overqualified. And people will come back to me and they say, well, you know, they said I was overqualified. I got news for you. They knew that going in. All right? They knew that going in. What happened was you showed up and you somehow gave off the perception that you think old, you're not changing, okay? You're accepting things the way they were last year and everything that we just went through. And you're told, even for promotion, even to take on a new assignment, okay? You're overqualified for this, Jane. That is the code, all right? So what do we do about that? What you do is say, yes, I do have experience. Acknowledge it, all right? Don't defend it. You're overqualified. People never, never, never know what to say when they are told to their face, you're overqualified. Acknowledge it. Yes, I do have experience. That's great for you. That's a good thing for you because I understand what it takes to be successful. You cannot beat that answer. Okay? You can't beat that answer, I'm telling you. All right? Go with the flow. Ride the horse in the direction it's going. I'm going to tell you this over and over again. Okay? Yes, I do have experience. That's absolutely right. The strategy is stop staying in the land of denial, all right, that your experience excels or exceeds the level of the sophistication of the job, all right? Instead, agree. What you want to do is to bring them into agreement that they're going to benefit from your experience in your training. Bring them into agreement. Yes, I do have this experience, and because of it, you're going to be successful. Nothing works better than that, okay? Nothing. All right, on your resume, on your LinkedIn profile, on your Facebook, on your bio, all of these are your marketing brochures. Whether or not you are looking for a job, whether or not you are looking for promotion, whether or not you're having trouble with one person, with a boss who you think is making remarks, et cetera, et cetera. Only go back 10 to 15 years maximum. Okay, I could go back 30 years. I could go back 30 years now that I think about it. Okay, don't take the dates off the jobs, all right? That signals, first of all, that you're flaky, and second of all, you're hiding something. But you don't have to put the dates down for graduation or your certificate program or your admission to the bar, that sort of thing. Edit your accomplishments, okay? I see people who go back to the 1970s because they think everybody has to know everything. That's not true. You don't have to say everything that ever happened in your career. For example, I started out as a career counselor at the age of 18. Okay, I'm not going to tell everybody that, although I just told you. All right, bullet point, prove that you're up to date. And again, that LinkedIn profile, very, very important. People are going to go to Facebook. They're going to go to LinkedIn no matter what. No matter what. Just they're sitting there on a Saturday morning drinking coffee, and they're going to look up Jane Doe. All right. Now, here's how you talk about yourself. This is weak, very weak. And when I hear somebody talking about themselves, or when you ask them, well, what do you do? Okay, or on a resume, this is what I see. They just blurt it out, okay, and we're going to go a little bit over time, so please stay with me if you can. I manage teams for document productions on complex cases. I maintain databases and weekly reports. I see that over and over again. All right, you put it on LinkedIn, you put it on your resume, you talk that way. What do you do? All right, different way of thinking. All right, turn it around. I am the leader of 5 paralegal teams. Same person. All right, I manage teams. I'm the leader of 5 paralegal teams in a $10 million case involving over 3 million e-discovery documents. I design and maintain an e-discovery database with 100% accuracy for 10 complicated IP cases. All right, it's the same thing that we said above, all right, but here what you've done is you've segmented yourself out, even in your conversation, all right, and sometimes you don't have to say, I mean, in a conversation with 100% accuracy, but you can say things like, boy, we've got really terrific accuracy on that one, all right, conversationally. And again, it's how you talk. It's how you talk to people, whether through the written resume, the written email, the social media, all right? You want to talk in numbers, dollars, and percentages. This is the strategy for moving up or getting a better job, or for staying where you are and being acknowledged as the best that there is, the best that there is, instead of trying to combat every single solitary remark that goes against your age. Forget about it. Okay? Forget about it. All right? Although I do want to say, if it is a real problem, you may have to go to HR, you may have to report it, and you may have to start documenting the file. And you're all in the legal field, and you all know how to do that, and you all know when to do that. You don't need me to tell you about the legal end of it. You really don't. Okay, what you need me for is to tell you how to combat age discrimination. All right, here's an example of LinkedIn, a resume. Okay, very weak. Paralegal certificate from UCLA, a BA degree in journalism. I took an e-discovery seminar with the Paralegal Knowledge Institute in 2014. This is so weak, all right, if you're talking about it or you put it in writing, whatever, all right? Strong. Very strong. I have a certificate in e-discovery project management from 2014. Okay, I'm current. I am current in my skills. That's the message, all right? What is the certificate in e-discovery project management? A lot of people don't know e-discovery. It's a 5-month comprehensive program designed by top subject matter experts covering all aspects of the e-discovery project management. Now you could put this under your BA degree from journalism, all right? I worked with the top journalists in the country, blah, 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 from UCLA, all right? I'm just trying to give you an example here. Same thing for the litigation support certificate. I will personally review your resume or your LinkedIn profile. If you email me, and I'm going to send around the ebook after the webinar, if you would like me to personally review your resume or your LinkedIn profile, I will be more than happy to. There's no charge, okay? I try and turn it around as fast as I can, but I literally get hundreds of emails a day that are not spam, so give me a break here. But I will do that for you, okay? I've written 10 books on the paralegal career. I've written a number of books on resume writing and on and on and on. Okay, and then we have the Paralegal Career Guide. That's on Paralegal Knowledge Institute, and this is all career strategies. It's a number of paralegal managers and paralegals who came forth with information on strategizing to get ahead in your career. Okay, so you might want to get that. The best place for older workers, all right, to find employment or to move up in the job are the smaller or mid-sized firms or the small in-house legal departments. What you want to do is look for someone who wants you, all right? Again, fewer people apply and there's less competition. So that's the area that you want to aim for, right? Chances of winning the fight against the system with big firms are not too good, and you're either going to accept that or you're not, all right? A lot of you want the pedigree firm on your resume. Okay, go for it. All right, go for it. You might get it. What you want to do is bypass HR as much as possible when you're looking for a job. Always talk about what we would be doing, all right, what we would be doing. And how you do that is search LinkedIn to find the manager, okay? Now, here is the most important strategy that I can give you today when we're talking about getting a job, moving up, trying to get more sophisticated assignments, and getting rid of the perception, I'll say it again, that you're old, all right? So the 30, 60, 90-day plan, all right? What this is going to do and why it works is it shows that you understand the job, you've thought it through, you can do it, all right? It's going to show capability, and nobody else is going to come up with this idea. I guarantee it. I guarantee it in your firm. All right? And again, you are using strategy to get rid of these people who are discriminating against you. All right? Don't be a victim. Don't be a victim. All right, here it is, the plan. All right? If you're job hunting, all right, and you get a second interview, what you want to do is walk in with a written plan as to how you would implement the job. Okay? What does that say? It says, I got it. I got it. Okay, so you're going to write a 30-day plan, outline it with goals and orientation. If you want to move up, walk into a conference, set up a conference. Don't go to the boss and say, got a second, all right? Make an appointment. Create a new position for yourself in the firm. Hand out the plan. Don't go and say, you know, with the attitude, I know you think I'm too old, but I really can do this job. Stop begging, all right? Do a written plan, 30, 60, 90. All right, 30 days, walk in with the orientation. 60 days is how you become more involved and how you're going to implement the plan. It could be something as innocuous as getting new software, all right? But what it does is it puts you in charge, all right? 90 days is the implementation, evaluation, and how you're going to move forward. This is an experiment, and this is how you're going to present it. People don't fail, all right? What happens is after the 90 days, if it didn't work, the experiment failed. The experiment failed, okay? And people will say that, oh, the experiment failed. They won't say Jane failed, okay? But if it succeeds, everybody's going to take credit for it, so you better get ready, okay? But what you've done is what? You've taken yourself out of the realm of I'm old. all right? The perception. People can visualize you doing the job. It's not going to matter how old you are. It's not going to matter, okay? They're going to visualize you doing the job, and that's what you want, all right? That's what you want. Again, forget about these petty little remarks unless it comes to the point where you have to go to HR. Let me put that caveat in, okay? And only you can determine that. But use this strategy, and you're going to be perceived differently. It's not going to matter if you're 50, you're 60, you're 70, you're 40, you're 30. It doesn't matter. What matters is you can do the job, okay? The 30, 60, 90-day plan is you're going to leverage your recent training. That's why I keep telling you, get continuing legal education. Get it, get it, get it, get it, okay? What you're doing is you're showing how you put to use what you've learned. So you're showing you can change. You're showing you're open. You're not resistant. Your brain still is working, okay? You're not there from 9 to 5. On and on and on, everything that we talked about. What you want to do is in that plan, show the benefits to the firm in revenue. Always talk revenue to the firm, even if you have to just take a stab at it, okay? Show them the numbers. It's not bad that show me the money. Show them the numbers in time saved and efficiency. Right? Again, you're establishing yourself. You're taking yourself out of the age discrimination category. Take yourself out of it. Your training doesn't have to wait until you find a new job. Right? Doesn't have to wait. Here are all the different kinds of things you can take online, on-demand webinars, CLE. Designed for experience level paralegals, okay? And that's what you want to take. You might have to go back and take a refresher course or a beginner class, okay? And we're going to offer you 30% discount for anybody who's been in this class, particularly if you have to pay for it yourself, because we understand, okay? And we understand you gave up your Starbucks, right? Okay. Let me just put the camera back on here. That's this one, okay, and there we are. Oh, got to fix my hair. Okay, you see I got it frosted. Okay, I don't call it frosted anymore. They call it highlights. And here we are, okay, and I will say age discrimination is never a good thing. Fight back. Here's to outrageous success. All right, do we have any questions? Okay, Mr. Brody.
In the chat room, Kevin contributed, regardless of age, it's important to keep showing intelligence and enthusiasm. And he also said, instead of doing the same thing over and over, be proactive and original in making a contribution to the firm.
Proactive, that's right.
Okay. Now, in the question box, the question here is the person's particular situation. I'm a litigation paralegal who has been a paralegal for over 20 years, and I've been at my AM Law 15 firm for about 12 and a half years. My responsibilities have not grown as much as I think they should, but I'm afraid to speak up since they may look and see that what I am doing a third-year paralegal could be doing for much less money. What to do?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Here's what you got to do. First of all, in my book, The Paralegal Career Guide, I give you certain forms and certain memos and certain techniques that you can use to start moving yourself up the ladder. You pinpointed a very, very important point in the paralegal career, and that is you haven't really moved up. So what's happening is they're billing you out at a senior level rate, but you're performing at the third-year level, and at some point it's going to catch up to you. All right. So what you need to do, your firm is not going to raise you up the ladder. It's not going to happen. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it. So what you're going to have to do is I teach you in that book how to get an assignment, leverage that assignment to move up to the next level, and then you keep moving up. All right. And you have a paper trail for it. So in the interest of time, because we're running over, and not because I'm trying to sell a book, believe me, you're going to have to step up and stop relying on your firm to move you up, because at some point it's going to clash, and you're right. You may be out of a job, or what the trend now is pay for performance, not for years of experience. That's what's happening. Okay, next question.
Okay, next question is, what about wanting to work for a particular person? How do you work that out?
Oh, that's easy. You're going to have to go to that person and let them know you want to work for them. But you're going to have to show them what it is you can do. So take an example. Do they have a client that they're working on? What can you do for that client? What is it you can do? Do the 30, 60, 90-day plan. They have a case coming up. What can you contribute that nobody else can contribute? Right? This is not a matter of favoritism or because they like me, all right, they'll let me work for them, or because HR takes pity on me, or because I finally broke them down, okay? Don't use that method. What you want to do is do a plan. Here's how I can help you. And know that person's clientele, matters, cases, whatever. Know them inside out. Go learn them first. And figure out a way that you can insert yourself in there, all right, and show them in black and white how it is that they're going to make money off of you and how it is that they're going to benefit by utilizing you. Just what you're trying to do now is to hope that they're going to choose you. Not going to happen. Okay, I'm sorry, but it's not going to happen. Right. Next question.
I've been using the 30, 60, 90-day plan for about a year. Haven't been hired, but everyone has liked it.
Okay, great. Terrific. Hang in there. Hang in there. You know, I'll tell you something. Senior level paralegals, it could take you 6 months to a year to get a new job. Those are the stats. Retail entry level paralegals, it could take 3 to 6 months. And people, particularly in this market, don't want to acknowledge how long it takes these days. Simply a matter of there's so much competition out there. That's what it is. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. I hope to send a resume soon reworked using some of your tips. Your opinion would be great.
Thank you. Okay.
Next, what would you advise if your boss has an agenda with regard to removing people from positions and bringing in his own younger people from his previous firm?
Find a new job. Seriously. Go to HR, document the age discrimination if you can, if there's really age discrimination going on. But this is a mindset. You're not going to change it. All right? And you may as well face it now. All right. You could try all of these techniques. Chances are it's not going to work, particularly because what you're telling me is that this guy has a pattern of doing this over and over and over again, probably for years. All right, probably for years. And there's a reason why he's been around a number of firms. Okay, it's not probably what he does is not going over too well. He's probably not going to be at your firm too long, guaranteed. But find another job or ignore it. Okay. Yes, and the last question.
Next, Sherry, you said never to think of suing for age discrimination, but is there ever a time where a person should sue, and if so, what should be the criteria to justify suing and hiring a lawyer?
I can't answer that because I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not a lawyer, so I can't tell you what circumstances are for you to hire a lawyer. What I would do if it were me, my personal opinion, I'd go to a lawyer and find out. What is it that constitutes a lawsuit? I'd go ask. Okay, spend a couple $100 for the hour, right? And find out and satisfy yourself. That's the best thing you can do, is to get an opinion from a real attorney. Okay, all right, two more quick questions.
Okay. I'm treated and often told that I do the work of a second-year associate. However, my raise was a pittance in comparison to what the associates got last year. I also billed more than any associate last year. What do I do to get more money for my work ethic?
Okay. First of all, you're not going to get it for your work ethic. You're going to get it for the quality of the work, not the work ethic. So work ethic is not anything that's tangible that they can hang a dollar to. All right. So what you need to do is to do it in dollars and cents. Okay. If you pay me X, you can bill me at X. All right. And your profit margin will be X. Okay, so you're going to have to boil it down to numbers. And yes, the associates got a bigger raise than you did. Sorry. Okay, they're the attorneys. They're being groomed for a partner. You're not. And fortunately, firms are turning around, and there are a number of articles these days on how much more profitable the paralegals are than the associates. You know, many firms, they have to write off everything that a first-year associate does. And clients are now pushing back. They don't want a first or second-year associate on their case or their matter, because what happens is they're training the associates on the client's dime. So there's a lot of pushback, and there are a number of firms right now that are not even billing for first-year associate time. So what you have to do is, again, go back to the numbers. Show them what the profitability is. If you pay me this, you can bill this. right? And see if you can find, do a quick and dirty survey, see if you can find other firms that and a market survey that you can substantiate it. That's what they believe, okay? If it's written, it must be so. So find out where else it's written. Go get articles, do surveys, join the International Paralegal Management Association, find out. ALA has that information, the Association of Legal Administrators. Find out and do your homework and justify it that way. Forget about work ethic. You're not going to get paid for that. You're expected to have that work ethic. If I were to hire you, I got news for you. I would expect that work ethic. I'm not going to pay you extra because you have a good work ethic. I'm not going to do it. I expect that out of you. Okay. Yes.
One last question. I became a paralegal at 50. I have experienced more bias from my fellow paralegals due to my lack of experience than any employer because of my age. My last 3 bosses were all born the year I graduated from high school. At age 52, but 2.5 years into my paralegal career, how do I convey that I'm still actively and intentionally in learning mode, such as new areas of the law?
Okay. Go through the ebook, all right? Use some of the techniques that I've given you. What you need to do is to turn the perception of your colleagues around. That's what you need to do. You have somehow, and I'm not trying to insult you, I don't even know who you are, but you have somehow given the perception to your colleagues that you're too old for something, okay? Somehow they're getting that message. You are giving the message. So what you need to do is turn around the perception of your colleagues. Maybe you're saying back in the day. Maybe you're saying, let me show you how to do it. Maybe you're saying, we used to do it this way. Okay, I said something the other day and I realized, oh my God, I'm really aging myself. I said, yeah, we used to index on 3x5 cards. Okay, do you know how long ago that was? All right, it was pre-computer. I mean, practically, we used to index on 3x5 cards. Oh my God. Okay, and I looked at the face of the person I'm telling this to and I realized it was like saying I grew up with no television. All right, or the kids today, they don't know what it is to grow up without a computer. Okay, change the perception of your colleagues. That's what you need to do. Okay, this has been fun. The questions have been terrific. I'm sorry I've gone over on the webinar. You can always download this webinar off our website on Paralegal Knowledge and take another look at it. Please, please, please read the ebook. Let me know your comments. Let me know what questions you have. And also, you want me to take a look at your resume, be happy to. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? Don't shoot the messenger. I'm pretty harsh when it comes to it. It's not that it's harsh so much as it's straightforward because I care. I really, really care. Okay, thank you. Come see us again and have a great day.
Thank you very much, Sherry, and thank you, attendees. And thank you for your thanks. Bye-bye now.